Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Movie Pop. I'm DJ Washington, and today I'm joined by my sexy and fabulous co-host, Mr. Lawrence Amber.
Hi guys.
And today we're talking about the penultimate finale of Game of Thrones, Season 8, Episode 6. This episode is titled The Iron Throne. Very appropriately so. I just want to say, first off the bat here, there is a lot of hate coming from commentators online about this episode, and in particular about this season, probably dating back to Season 6, but more specifically about this season, and of course the past couple episodes, which of course I take a huge amount of criticism for the quality of these episodes as compared to the previous seasons. However, I just want to say off the bat, this show by no means, by no stretch of the imagination, is anywhere near close to being bad quality writing, bad quality anything. It is an A-class show. If you want to see a bad television show, I dare you. Get a subscription to CBS All Access, watch The Twilight Zone, watch Star Trek Discovery. That's fucking horrendous. Like, unbearable to watch to the point where I need to cancel my subscription.
DJ's a hater. Just let him have
It's so bad. It just boggles the mind. Like, millions of dollars have been sunk into this crap product. No.
I can't speak on Twilight Zone, but I Discovery so far.
Discovery is it's a shitcom. It's bad. It's really bad. It's very cringeworthy dialogue, despite it looking beautiful.
Oh,
so
dear, yeah.
I have to say, like, yeah, this episode and this season has not been like to par compared to the past seasons and episodes. But comparatively, with all the other crap we're getting, rammed up our ass from other networks, I mean, this is quality.
I think it's just people have expectations that are through the roof and they're not being met,
yeah.
which always tends
it's exactly
to happen.
what it is.
However,
it's not deserved.
I can't say that. Yeah. I can't say that the people behind the scene, like the director and stuff, I can't say that they're also doing the best job. Sure, like you said, the show isn't total garbage. I feel like a lot of criticism is kind of blown out of proportion. I feel like the season was just rushed. It just feels like there's cramming a lot of stuff that they didn't need to do. Like, you didn't really have to cram all this stuff into it.
This is true. There are valid criticisms, for sure. But if you're coming from the perspective of saying, oh, this show sucks, it's terrible writing, boo, it's like, dude, come on, man. Like, really, do you understand? Like, you have a whole production company, you have teams of writers and directors and showrunners, like, trying to formulate the best possible show they can. And, yeah, it may not live up to, like, what's come before, but by no means is this a terrible piece of television. It's fantastic. And
we could probably ramble about this all day. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we could ramble about this all day, but we should probably just dive right in, and we're going to be here till midnight trying to talk about this.
For sure, yeah. I just had to preface that before I start diving into the reasons why I feel the way I feel about this episode.
I feel like we could make an entire episode just talking about this stuff. So
yeah. So, Lawrence, I don't know if you want to start to take the reins here and lead us into what happened this episode.
Sure. So the scene opens, and it's basically the aftermath of the battle. I was already feeling a little uncomfortable with Grey Worm, seemingly very bloodthirsty. I mean, that's kind of a minor scene, but the major thing is that after that, you already feel like it's uncomfortable between the Queen, but then, like, Tyrion finds his brother and sister buried down, below the Red Keep, which is, like, really rough for him. You can tell it has, like, the music is really sad, and you can tell that Tyrion is just crushed. I mean, he just loves his brother more than almost anyone in the world, and he hates his sister, but at the same time, he knows that it's like his family that he's seeing killed before him, What did you think of that scene?
I thought that scene was very sad, and I have to say, like, I really appreciated this episode for totally doing a 180 switch on the tone. Like, from the onset of this episode, we have a close frame shot of Tyrion walking amongst the ruin and the chaos and horror of Daenerys' onslaught upon King's Landing. And there's such a drastic tonal shift from the previous episodes where we had this sense of optimism. Like, this is a battle for the ages, for the good. And now, like, what transpired from the previous episode, there is a humongous sense of dire sorrow just hovering over like the whole sense of this episode, and I could really feel it, and you really felt it during the interactions where you have Daenerys talking amongst the crowd, and Jon and Tyrion.
We're actually leading right into that scene now. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's the next scene we're talking about. You see Tyrion, his expression has not changed since he saw his family. And you know he's ready to like confront her. He's like, I don't care if you kill me.
The
like,
non-verbal expression amongst them, they're communicating to each other non-verbally, just like in total and complete shock. And it's just like, okay, we found ourselves in this situation. What do we do now? We won. She's our queen. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah.
Tyrion doesn't really have any respect for her anymore, because he knows what she did, and he just takes his pin and just tosses it and is like, just kill me, because there's nothing really left for me to live for. But he's like, you can tell he's just ashamed that he supported her and all that stuff. And I thought that scene it's great to see her talk, and I love the introduction to that scene. But yeah, then like Tyrion kind of steals the show. Tyrion and Jon kind of steal the show, because you can tell they're really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads into the next scene where she ends up taking Tyrion into custody, because she's like, well, you committed treason, so I'm gonna, now she, I guess, is going to kill him, is what we're led to believe. And so Jon visits Tyrion when he's being held and breaks it down to him and says, well, she just put me, she's holding me now, she's probably gonna kill me. What do you think she's gonna do to someone who threatens her rule? And Jon kind of like, you can tell Jon is incredibly conflicted, because he's like, he doesn't want to be dishonorable. He has that Ned Stark kind of honor as number one, but then at the same time, he knows that he's probably right. She'll do whatever it takes to become queen, like she did, and stay as queen. So
yeah, man,
that was a long scene. They talked for a long time.
And so I want to touch upon that. Let's move, and also just mention, let's move more into our general opinions of this episode, just for the sake of time at present. I don't think we'll have a time for a breakdown for each scene. But I wanted to comment on that scene you were talking about specifically, because a lot of people were hating on the dialogue that Tyrion, his monologue Tyrion had for Jon Snow, quoting it as being lackluster and just very run-of-the-mill. And I felt it was anything other than that. It was some of the best writing.
The dialogue was
really good.
Yeah, all the dialogue was quite good in this.
Fantastic. So I don't understand that. But again, let's move into our general consensus for the episode. If we can, break it down into the pros and cons. I have some of which I'd like to mention. Do you have any of yours you'd like to mention, or shall I take it?
Yeah, no, go ahead. I want to hear your thoughts first.
I thought it was a very shocking surprise, because I'm trying to contemplate who's going to occupy the Iron Throne. Naturally, I want Jon Snow to do it, but that's too obvious a choice. Daenerys ascending to the throne. Again, too obvious a choice on the opposite end of the spectrum. Who else could do it? I was totally shocked, but it was creepy cripple Bran. And
real quick though, before we go into Bran, I love that. I don't remember his name. The guy that stands up and tries to. Be king, and then Sansa's like,
he's one. I believe he's a Tully. Edmund Tully. Edmund Tully.
I just don't remember his name. There you go. I just thought that scene was hilarious. But
Tyrion's little speech to rally the lords of Westeros into supporting Bran as king, I thought made complete and total sense. You want an impartial person who doesn't want the throne to be the king, and someone who has a story, and someone who has the foresight and hindsight of this kind of omniscience, telepathic power that could really guide the country.
I never saw coming.
That could really guide the country towards prosperity, having this insane ability to see into the past and the future.
Right, he's like the living memory of humanity, pretty much. I don't know how you're going to top that.
I don't know.
When he dies, I don't know.
Pretty good. I thought they wrapped everything up very nicely, especially towards the end. And this is my last pro with the new King's Landing Council of Westeros. You have Tyrion as the hand. You've got Grand Maester Tarly, Samuel Tarly, right?
Yeah, I know. It's great to see him a Maester finally.
Right. Yeah, you've got Davos there, and you've got Bronn as Master of Coin. Now, There's kind of a double-edged sword there with Samwell Tarly being the Grand Maester, because it's like he didn't really complete his training. But I'm not sure how far in time we skipped ahead, but I figure it's pretty relatively soon because they're still trying to work out all their what's the word? You know, when you're speaking to royalty, the kind of cadence you have with them. He's
Oh yeah, where they're all like off, and he's like, "It'll get better. Don't worry." Yeah.
The only con I really had for this episode, and I'll close with this for my part, was some of the shots during these, especially the beginning of the episode, looked kind of cheap to me in terms of CGI. I could tell it was kind of green screen, but that's about it. Yeah, I was satisfied.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Some of my big cons, because I mean, I thought overall the story was serviceable. I wasn't super upset with it, but there are some points that really kind of hurt my view of it. I didn't like what they did to Jon because I feel like Jon's story is made irrelevant. There's no real point to him being a Targaryen. A lot of it could have been replaced with another character. Like you could have had Daario Naharis fit his role. There's no point to even have Jon in the story. Daario Naharis could have been someone that was just close to her and ended up killing her. You know, maybe not that specific character, but you could have had someone much simpler fill Jon's role, because him being a Targaryen at the end of the day doesn't really matter that much, and it's really served as to just get him close to her. That's really all it's there for. And it's a major part of the story because he's like basically the last Targaryen alive, and he's forced to live out exile. And it's like, well, what's the point of that? You know, I feel like there's not much of a payoff there. The biggest payoff we got for Jon was that he gets to be reunited with his dog, his
that he finally pet this time, because apparently they have the CGI budget to allocate for it.
Yeah. So I'm just like, what the heck? Another thing, I don't understand why Sansa is so strongly wanting to separate herself from the kingdom. They have a Stark on the throne, and this is the best time for them to be part of the Seven Kingdoms, and that's the time she chooses to be like, well, I'm not a part of the Seven Kingdoms anymore. It's
I don't agree with you on that.
I know she wants...
Continue.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
no, I mean, that's really it.
Okay, yeah, I mean, she said it herself. Like, the North has lost way too much in this battle for us to continue moving forward, like being an equal part member of the Seven Kingdoms. Provided that they were... Everybody
lost a lot, though, not just
the North, I think, lost more than any Westerosi kingdom in that battle of the Long Night.
In terms of military? Or...
Yeah, for that last battle with the Night King. I mean, they were the strong front they were the first battalion essentially for the whole kingdom fighting them, and also just regarding like their past history with Westeros, Ned Stark, obviously, they've just lost too much. They've dealt too much with Westerosi politics for them to be involved anymore. And they're an independent kingdom too. It's not like they're interdependent like the other 6 kingdoms. For trade and sustenance and all these other things, economies.
They're totally by themselves because
they're so isolated. They're their own self-sustaining, kingdom, and it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like they lost more than everyone else. I mean, I feel like there was just a ton of losses. Like Daenerys lost half her, what are they called?
But you gotta.
The guys on the horseback.
What about the battle of the bastards, though? And everything everything that Winterfell has gone through with
Sansa. I mean, it's not her fault, but that's not really Daenerys' problem. That's not anyone else's problem. That's just between the North.
Yeah, that's a consequence of the North being involved with the kingdoms of Westeros. They just want to be removed from that. It made sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I guess we just kind of agree to disagree.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Anything else you want to comment on this episode before we wrap up?
No, I think that's pretty much hit on everything. I just want to reiterate, I think Bran was an excellent choice for the king. Didn't see it coming.
Las Vegas saw it coming, though. Apparently so, months ago. So, congratulations to everyone who bet on...
people that predicted it. I don't know how.
Yeah. Congratulations to everyone in Vegas who bet on Bran, the Broken. Creepy, crippled Bran, the Broken.
Yeah.
All right, then. Well, let's wrap it up here with our scores for a...
One last thing. Sorry, I just remembered. I love how the ending is Jon Snow coming out of the gates of the Night's Watch, the wall. It ends the same way that it begins. I thought that was nice. Literally, the first scene of the first episode is the gates opening, and it ends that same way.
Okay.
and John. Yeah,
Nice
I thought that was
callback,
great.
yeah.
I really like that.
Rhyming.
Yeah, I wish they told you more what happens to John because you don't really know. You know he's
It's
going
open-ended,
with
I think.
the wild.
'Cause he could be-
yeah, but you don't really know
Right.
what's happening.
Yeah, he could be ditching the Night's Watch, or
Yeah.
moving forward into the North, where he belongs, or he could just be going, on behalf of the Night's Watch, just kind of scouting out, the North.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah.
So final
Let's do
scores
it.
for the season finale of Game of Thrones. We're finally here. I'm gonna give it a 4. 4 bags of popcorn. Completely
Yeah.
satisfied. Caught me by surprise in areas I did not expect. Wrapped up some nice threads, in my opinion, and just a visually, emotionally engaging episode that brought a close to a series that I felt like deserved an ending this well executed.
Yeah, I think a 4 is pretty fair. It's not the best, most perfect ending anyone
There
could
are
have asked
worse.
for, but it was very close. It did a lot of things right. I mean, there was a couple pain points, like I personally felt. I'm sure most people have their own pain points. So I think a 4 is pretty solid, pretty worthwhile ending
Cool.
for the series.
All right. Well, that wraps it up here for us on Movie Pop. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Please make sure they like. We have a little Movie Pop logo, I believe, right there. You can click that bad boy and subscribe to our channel. You can also click subscribe down below in the title comments area. Follow us on Instagram at Movie Pop Official, on Twitter at Real Movie Pop, Facebook at Movie Pop, and thank you again for so much for tuning in.
Yeah, guys, as always, your support means the world to us. If you just want to leave us comments, any feedback, we don't care, positive, negative, whatever it is. We want to improve. We want to grow. We're committed to always getting better. So any support you guys give us goes a really long way. So we just want to thank you. Thank you for watching our video. Thank you for supporting
Thank
us.
you guys.